Yo, what is up, guys? So, I wanted to make a personal video where I talk to the camera directly when I talk about life's deeper meanings. Because I do intend to do some funner content, but I still want to give a healthy balance to know that is not all fun and games. Sometimes we do got to get down to business. And as someone who's young enough to get it, but old enough to understand that the younger generation is going to have their own set of challenges, I feel like I could offer some perspective. But yesterday, as I was getting off my day job, I had a moment of revelation when I came across someone from my past for a split second. Sorry. But my past, like my early 20s, was pretty interesting. Long story short, had a lot of selfish friends, a lot of just party friends and stuff like that, but they were not very deep in meaning. And like when I was 24, I took it upon myself to start self-improving. This was before self-improvement was something you see all over YouTube and all these platforms now. It was before like the whole self-improvement thing popped off, because eventually I realized I wasn't accepting human nature. I was giving to a lot of people, but I was expecting things in return, or I was expecting them to be in my corner just the same. But they never asked me to be in their corner that much. And, yeah. Now, although when I was in their corners like that, some people did take advantage. And if someone's taking advantage, well, it's a one-way street and you know it, you do have to take a bit of responsibility. I'm not saying blame yourself for everything, but just be very self-aware of your actions and where you went with it. Walk away from people who take advantage of you. Don't stick around. Don't let them gaslight you. There's a lot of narcissistic, egotistical people who will do that. But one particularly did. And the day I finally called them out on it, how you're fair weather, you use me for attention, parties, because you can't hold down friendships, right? He did not have anyone authentically liking him down the line. A lot of times I would hear about him, people didn't like him, for a lot of reasons. He was entitled, he was selfish, narcissistic, egotistical. He played the victim, so when you turned your back, he would pull a Jerry from Rick and Morty, where, if you watch that Rick and Jerry episode where Rick talks about all the reasons he doesn't like Jerry, because he says Jerry's a parasite who acts like a victim and is actually just a predator himself, that was the kind of guy this guy was. He grew up in a very privileged background, but he thought all that money was his. He bought a lot of gadgets he didn't need. He would always ask his dad for like these $200 gifts, a Fitbit, even though he didn't really work out. He betrayed another friend of mine, who was a problem himself, but still, it was just in his nature. He was kind of like Dimitri from Grand Theft Auto 4, if it was not dangerous, because he wasn't like dangerous like those guys from the Grand Theft Auto games, but he did have that kind of slimy attitude. But he thought he was going to be a big shot, a success story, all that stuff. And the thing I could say is the more you talk a big game, the more you got to back it up. But after I got rid of him and I went through another toxic relationship, I said, what am I doing to attract all of these toxic people? I never once put on a facade that day forward. I was very open about me needing help, not knowing anything. And that's when I started to learn, as I let my ego fade. It was painful, a painful few years. However, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of trial and error. But I could say years later that I'm very grateful for the position I'm in. I woke up, went to a day job because I got into trades, IT work, all that stuff. But IT jobs are very oversaturated. So right now I'm currently working as a welder. I like that job. It's fun. I get off yesterday, about to make myself some lunch because we start early. We get off early. And I'm looking forward to working out too. You know, training some people, right? And the funny thing was that I was talking to an older lady who said, it seems like you guys have a dog-eat-dog mentality in your generation, and there doesn't seem to be much community. I told her, you know what? I used to see this before it was this on blast, and I did speak up about it and said, this is going to become an issue. Not to be that guy, but I was one of the first guys to say it, and people used to dismiss it a lot. And now look where we're at, where the age of narcissism is on a magnifying glass, and people are very aware of it. And you got people who want to get past it, and people who just don't care and want to live in that world. And I said, I stay to the people who are sincere. I keep improving myself, and I don't give any energy to the people of that upside-down narcissistic world. Because it's not worth it. You can't win. They'll take everything, and then they'll blame you. As I was saying that, there was a delivery driver that was hiding from me. Obviously, I didn't know why. But he walked around the corner hiding his face. And I saw from the back that it was that guy I just mentioned. The one that said he was going to be a big shot. We were all beneath him. He betrayed everybody. He was a delivery driver, and I understand it's not about the material, what we were making, but how honest we were with ourselves versus the shame we have to feel. And when you're honest with yourself and you're saying, I'll work as hard as I can, but I'll see on this self-improvement thing, and you actually do it and you don't fake it, you might not be an internet celebrity or an elitist or anything like that. But let me be one of the first to say that at least you're spiritually going to be content because you put in the work. He, on the other hand, betrayed everybody, was supposed to be a big shot. And the more you talk, the more you got to back it up. And he was talking up here. It probably backed up about this much. Because a delivery driver is an honest living. Don't get me wrong. But you could tell he was still wrestling with how he got here. And he was probably blaming everybody else. I sensed someone who was angry, bitter, resentful, who couldn't even look me in the face anymore. And I'm not saying this to put him down, as much as a lot of people would think he deserves it. But it was seeing a shadow from a past while I channeled the negativity he gave me and shuttled it into productivity and learning and growing. Meanwhile, he let the bitterness eat away at him. So, the lesson of this blast from the past story that said so little in that interaction, basically nothing in that interaction, but so much. And what you could take from this is that if someone gives you lemons, you channel that into lemonade. Because it is going to be ice cold, delicious, and super sweet when you drink it. And I think seeing that, I was able to look at where I was versus where I am. And I can tell you I'm doing all right. And I hope you take steps to do the same.